I've been back in LA now for about 8, 9 days. I'm going to be leaving in about a week, back to Hawaii. I'm going to take a trip over to Oahu, go see some friends there for about 5 days, and then swing back over to Maui. Been working on a couple of interesting opportunities in Maui. Might be picking up our first flip out there. So I got our fingers crossed on a couple deals, a couple opportunities there. And just enjoying the time here in LA, you guys. We had a great meetup on Saturday. Like I said on my post, we couldn't make it a huge public thing just because of COVID and all that kind of restrictions and just trying to be safe and healthy. So, but we did have some amazing connections there. It's so important, you guys, to meet with other people in your market because you never know how you might need each other, whether that be for contractors, or that be for kind of what working for everybody else, or just motivation in general. But I really believe in making like real deep connections with people, getting to understand what their goals are. Because if you understand other people's goals, you can help them with their goals, and potentially they can help you with yours. And I think that when you start relationships, you guys, on that basis, you can build so much stronger bonds with people because you're genuinely trying to see how you can help somebody else, and then potentially out of that, how are they going to be able to help you? So I think we learned some lessons. I was able to share some lessons, you guys, that we learned from this, Paramount flip. It's right at the finish line. It's still, it's funny because some people do remember the deal itself, and they were asking me about it, like, hey, is this deal going to lose money? It's not, because we bought it right. We bought it at a good enough discount, enough margin for error, where we're not going to lose money on that deal. We're still stand to make a 6-figure profit on that deal. So a lot of lessons learned, but we bought it right.
Our company's growing, and Will's amazing. We're in LA, and with that, Alex lives in Hawaii. So, to make your company grow and to do all these things, there's so many different dynamics. It's, trying to see these properties, doing the flips, hosting these webinars, marketing. So with that said, let's get going. We'll get this.
Love it.
Yeah.
If you guys are getting like close to the finish line on one of your deals, and you are just like, a short step away, and you need a little bit of help, Alex does have one-on-one coaching available for you guys. So this is your chance on a one-on-one level to connect with Alex and say, hey, Alex, this is where I'm at in my real estate journey. I need this little bit of help getting over this little hump and taking down my first deal. I kind of think back to Colin. Colin did a call with us, 2 weeks ago, Alex, and just sent me a text message this past week, sending over his check into escrow and just bought his next deal because he was able to get over that little hump that he had.
I think the hardest part really is finding your first and creating your first deal, because you really need that proof of concept, proof to yourself that you can do it. And then also, the process of understanding a deal from A to Z, whether that's a wholesale deal or that's a deal that you do as a flip. If you get a good enough deal, the money will kind of figure itself out. Rehab will also be, it's less likely for you to make mistakes on it if you get a good enough deal. So I think just that's why we push people to get started. For example, my first deal, it was about 4 years ago. It was through cold calling. I literally had a cold call for like 2 months straight. And then on my third month, I got my first deal. And this is somebody that has real estate experience. This is somebody that really wanted it, and I got educated. So, but once I got that first deal from a foreclosure lead, I still remember the name of the lady. I still remember the address of the property. I still remember the numbers, because it was so meaningful for me to get that first one, under my belt. Then I just believed after that, like, hey, and every month after that, I've gotten a deal, like pretty much all the way to today. So you just got to get that proof of concept, get that first deal out of the way. And whether you make $5,500 or $50,000, that's going to be your hardest part. And then you can just build off of that.
What made it a lot easier is having the amazing opportunity with Alex. He's well experienced. He's had several years of flipping houses. He's done over 85 flips. So having that security and also mentorship, knowing like, hey, okay, I checked out this property. Is this a correct flip? I don't really know. Checking the numbers, having that. So you do one flip, you learn a million things. So after that first flip, once you do 2 or 3 or 4, and Alex doing 85, he doesn't need to think. He can just do this with his eyes closed.
Looking at all these things, you get really good at analyzing. Now I can analyze deals like in 5 to 7 minutes. Before it used to take me, 20, 30 minutes, per deal. So just, I think my mentor, Brandon Turner, talks a lot about this, like just go out and analyze 100 properties, 100 deals. If you analyze the deals enough and you'll be able to do these quick formulas. I have a video on that on rehab formulas on my Instagram. So if you guys want to let us know if you need that, because there's a couple of formulas on there as well. Yeah, and one thing I want to add about that is also you need to start building your team in a sense. Like if you know you're going to be flipping property, then you're probably going to need a contractor. You're probably going to need a broker, a listing agent. Probably need title. You're probably going to need escrow, contractors, all that stuff. So start talking to those people and kind of get those people lined up because some of them are not investor friendly. Some listing agents, believe it or not, really don't want to work with investors because they want to get a full commission. As an investor, typically you don't want to pay a full commission because you're handing them listings for them to sell, and all these other things that kind of come up with building your team to help you successfully execute flips. I think that's really important. And then one last thing is the ability that you develop over. I analyze on average almost 1,000 houses a year. I said this on my Bigger Pockets podcast. And it's because I ran those numbers in my head. I was like, how many houses have I actually looked at to attain this skill level of being able to, in that quickly being able to analyze deals. And it did take like a couple years. Now, granted, I've been teaching Jay and you now for months, and you guys are almost at where I'm at in a matter of months, because I'm giving you all the shortcuts, right? I'm just giving you all the like, hey, look at this, look at this, look at that. That are all nuances that you don't really ever find unless you look at a lot of deals. I mean, we're in this business, you guys, to make a profit, right? We're in this business to make money. You guys are not in this business or not thinking about flipping real estate or any of that because, I mean, it's a big reason, right? To be profitable. And so there's been, I would say at least half of my deals end up making more or significantly more than I expected. And I mean, that's, as an investor, if you're doing a good job, that's what you're doing. You're investing. We like to say we invest in deals that have a very low risk with a really high upside potential. And so I've done that a lot. And I mean, one of my deals, we thought was gonna make 45, it made 89,000. Another deal we thought was gonna make 50, it made 80,000. Another deal that we thought was gonna maybe make 80 to 100,000, it's projected to make right now $150,000. So bottom line is there's a lot of money in this business if you do it right. But that's been a surprise for me too. That I'm like, hey, it's been even more profitable than I expected, and I'm happy about that. What can I say?
Yeah, and especially even with the market right now, it's flaming hot, and everything's basically. We checked out a couple properties earlier today. We'll look at the deals that we're going to go over with you guys. There were 3 and we missed out. They were all above over asking, some 20K over what we put in, and people are selling them. They put it on the market for 525. People are taking them out for like over 550. So real estate's great right now. So if you're scared with 2021 and stuff, don't be.
Quarter 1 of this year has really been all about stabilizing LA, growing LA, and getting the team all dialed in. That's why I'm coming back every 4 to 6 weeks and just spending time with you guys, training, doing the networking like we did with the meetup. But by next quarter, I really want to lock in my first Maui flip. I've been making offers, and then I have a new team member out there, Alex Ibarra. Shout out to him. He's going to be leading the way with the acquisition. So we're getting pretty close. We've been making offers and doing driving for dollars. So I think that's going to be we're really excited about our first Hawaii Maui flip happening in the second quarter, maybe sooner.
Yeah, I see him driving for dollars every day, putting 100 leads. So shout out to Alex. You're killing Maui.
I get the message every day, bro, and I'm telling you, I'm really happy. I'm like
killing it.
Yeah, you see him like 50 houses uploaded, 70 houses uploaded. I'm like, oh, Alex is beasting it out. One of my big goals this year is for me to acquire a multifamily building in Palmdale, Lancaster. So looking for like an 8 to 10 unit building out there. Trying to pick it up for less than $100,000 per unit per door. And then I have a mentor out there that owns like about 30 doors. She got most of her stuff on Section 8. And I know one of our colleagues and partners out there, Paul, is also a big multifamily investor out there in Palmdale, Lancaster. So we're looking to get some units out there this year, and then just continue to like expand on this LA market, and then just transition to duplicating whatever we're doing here over in Hawaii. And then good news is, since my team got their next deal here in Southgate, I'm flying them out to Hawaii in March. So come hang out with me and some of my friends, go surfing, go spearfishing, paddle boarding, go see the whales, go see the green turtles. So that's one of the benefits of working on my team, because it's like we buy coast. I mean, you know, we're going back and forth. We're here in LA, we're in Hawaii.
Yeah, I'm super stoked and excited, working super hard and, you know, working to that financial freedom. And I guess Alex is going to teach me how to surf and all that. So that'll be fun. We'll post some silly blooper videos of Jay eating it in the water. Just, you know, it'll be great. So stay tuned for that one. I think we'll post that.
Definitely will. So Emily,
Hey,
kind of explain a little bit, you know, obviously you guys had this deal kind of come onto your lap, and, you know, kind of let everybody know, how did you come about Alex, and how did you come about, you know, deciding, hey, this might be a deal that I want to bring Alex in on?
Well, so one of our friends, he's a personal friend of ours, is an agent. He sold our personal residence to us, and we've always just kept in contact. Specializes in probate real estate, so he handles a lot of probate sales. And we saw the listing that he put up of this house for sale, and it was in LA County. And we know Alex just from online and watching his videos and his Instagram. And immediately he was the first person that popped into my head about somebody that maybe we could partner up with on getting this deal, because I know he's big in the LA market area. And I thought, okay, if anyone knows LA County right off the top of my head, it could be Alex. And so I just, you know, took a gamble and said, hey, I'm going to hit him up on DM and see if, you know, what he's willing to do or what information he's willing to offer to us as newbie investors. And I just took a gamble and sent the DM and said, hey, Alex, you know, we've got this potential deal. You know, would you be willing to partner up with us on this? And the reason why we wanted to reach out to someone is because not only are we, like I said, newbies, but we have some cash.
Yeah, we were talking about it. So yeah, so Emily and Henry came into my my circle, into my DMs, and then I gave them my hard money lender, and then I looked at the deal. I said, hey, this is something that has a lot of potential. How do you know this agent? And then we just kind of went down that rabbit hole. She explained to me how she knew the agent, and we just put our best foot forward, because the hard money lender was just asking too much for her to put down. But as far as the numbers are concerned, because of the purchase price, it was going to be somewhere in the high fours. And putting 20% down, or actually they would have made her put 25% down, maybe 30. And so you see, it would have took about $163,000 to more or less execute this flip. And then I usually get 10, 15 or 20% down, kind of depends on the deal. So it'd be less cash in for that. So,
and that's not even including points, Alex. You know, so I mean, like, I think you still have it at your points, so it would have probably been, you know, a little bit higher on the points as well, and the rate.
If you're a newer investor, they usually charge you 2.5 points or 3. But I'm at 1.5 to like 1.75 right now. So it can make a significant difference. And then,
what about the interest? Yeah.
Interest rate as a newer investor, you typically can get like 10% to like 12%. But I'm at 8.75, 8.5, somewhere in there right now.
And that'll all make or break a deal.
Yeah, look at it. 10%. I just added $2,000. You know, you change it to 2.5%. Boom. You know, 4,600 to 7,600. You know, 20 to 20. Like I just showed you guys, 25% down. That's like another $30,000, or, you know, some large amount.
So that just ballooned your cost of money into the project, and also the amount of, you know, profit that you're not going to be able to make on the back end. So you're putting more in, and the chance to make less as well.
Yeah, and then so she what she proposed, and we kind of decided on doing some type of equity split, where I would put the remainder of the money. They had about $50,000 to $60,000, and then I would put the remainder of the money, and then we split the equity, kind of based on like the roles and the goals, right? Like how much work are they going to do on the rehab, and all that, and what agent we're going to use to resell it. So there was a couple of things there that we figured out that was going to be a win-win. But I also, again, I believe that a deal up to a certain price, because it got listed at 450, but I knew it was going to go over asking. But I'm not going to pay 500 for it, because I didn't see like that. It would have been too thin. So they stretched us all the way to this number here. I'm sorry. Let me go back to this and put the actual numbers that it was going to be. and I could pull the comps because it is still a relevant deal, but it just wasn't anything. I could not justify paying 500,000 for it. It was just going to be too thin.
And guys, that's the way you get around that little thing is instead of you paying that 8.5 or that 2% interest rate, you JV with another investor and say, hey, I have this deal. If you can help me kind of put the other two things together, this might be a really screaming hot deal, and I can learn everything from you part of that process.
Yeah, and then another caveat to this deal is we were going to have to buy it occupied. So the people that were staying in the property, they didn't have any formal lease or anything. They were related to the person that died, and it was a probate situation. So we also had to pad in. That's what it was. We also had to pad in some type of cash for keys, which is typically what you negotiate when you're buying a property, you're an investor, the property is not vacant, and then you have to negotiate with them, and those people usually want time or money. So we had to put in here, instead of the acquisition fee, we put cash for keys, and then we were padding in their $5,000 that we'd had to give that tenant to get out, or we'd have to give them more time. So like you guys have been seeing, we'd have to either give them more time, and then maybe they wanted 60 days. So that's another 195. That changes a lot of the deal. Like now it's like, okay, we have to give this person time.
Also,
and then,
with that said, during COVID and everything, potentially we can't legally get them out. So it could have taken 6 months before the, tenant could have been vacated. And then after 6 months with holding costs, everything, we would have been upside down.
Yeah. So let's look at the comps real quick so you guys can see, because it's so hot, and I really wanted this deal because I did a flip in La Mirada that did really, really well with very similar property, very similar area. And so, it was hard to not push it to 500,000, because I think even at 500,000, it's not going to lose money. But you're going to do all that work. And as I said earlier, sometimes the best deal you do is the one you don't do, because it's going to tie up all this time from your team, for your money that you have, and then you only make a little bit of money. So it's like, we're not going to do all this work for 3, 4, 5 months and then make 10 grand. It just doesn't make sense. So 11409 Dickey. But you look at what you'll see right now in the comps is how it was really hard to not be really aggressive on this one. We really pushed it to I think we got up to 486. At first we're like, oh, maximum we'll pay 470, and then we kept looking at the numbers. We're like, damn, we might be able to get 650 for this property. So anyways, let's take a look here. Let me filter.
I think our exit comp was the 7214 Vanport.
I'm a new family and I want to live in Whittier, and I have 2 kids and we need 3 bedrooms. Where can I buy a house in Whittier?
That could be 50 or 100. That could be 50 or 100 buyers.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, they're going to bid.
And there's only one property available. So
yeah. And then look, and not only that, remember we talked earlier, look, this is all the sold is from a number 7 down. Look at the days on market.
So Jay, what did we say was our exit comp on this? The 7214 Vanport?
Yep.
It was. I was,
Yeah, look, so check it out.
50
it's 0.1 miles away from our property. So it's literally around the corner. It's in the same zip code, everything. Went for 615, was listed for 589, so it sold $20,000, almost 20,000 over asking. And it's a 3-1, just like us. And so it's virtually it's a very, very similar property. It sold in one day.
1 day. So it took 1 day on market at that price and it was gone.
And then whenever you see this, it's a huge description. It's probably a flip. We look at the pictures. Can you guys see the pictures?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So this is it's a clean property. Look, you can definitely see it's a flip, right? And we're going to be as nice or nicer as that based on what we saw. And we drove this comp. We're like, all right, so we think we can get at least 615. The market's hot. Let's put our ARV at 625, 630. And that's where we were here, calculating 630 as our max ARV. To get it there, we were gonna have to spend 40 to 50,000 because it was pretty clean, but it needed a roof. But we weren't sure if we're gonna put that second bathroom. But we seen this exit comp. But look, if we would have bought it at 500,000, I just feel like it would have been a little bit too tight. But then I guess they're calculating they might be able to sell it for 650 or more. So that's kind of how that one played out, and we just lost it just by a hair.
And Emily, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Again, knowing that this was your kind of getting to the first deal, what did you kind of think of the process?
Well, the fact that Alex is so well versed in everything, he made it very easy and seamless for us. Like he showed us how, you know, he comes to the comps, the ARV, he has all his calculations down, and he whips that up so fast. I mean, we were just like mind blown. But that's the advantage, I think, you know, to partnering up with somebody who's well versed with not just the market, but, you know, and I did see too that he had some probate experience also, which gets tricky. And so you're not just dealing with, you know, a simple sale, you're also now having to potentially deal with a probate court. So, you know, he was very knowledgeable, so he made that kind of a little bit simpler for us, but it's fun to watch. One, so if you're looking for like mentoring, or, you know, to learn and watch somebody, you know, as they handle it, that I think doing it this way is a great way to do it and to get into, you know, investing. It happens so fast too. It's real, you know, the market, the real estate world happens so fast. I mean, you got to be like on it. And as soon as something hits the market, you have to be reaching out, you got to be submitting your offers, and you got to be, you know, building rapport with the seller, with the agents. I mean, there's a lot of like, you know, wheels spinning in all of it, but it's fun. I think once you get into it and you start to learn more and more on the ins and outs, I think it gets easier the more and more you do it. I can see that.
And Alex, you know, pretty much opens up the books, right? Like you were sitting in on meetings with me, with Jay, with Alex. You know, you got to see just about every process that we do on the business side. So whether it is that you decide, hey, I'm ready to take down my own flip the next time, or if you say, you know, hey, I have this other deal, but I still want to have Alex kind of help me get this one to the finish line, you at least got to see all the kind of moving pieces and moving parts and how quickly that all can kind of happen. So that's pretty awesome as well.
Right. And I think what's important to also note for people that are, you know, starting out, like I like how we got in the car and we drove the comps in the neighborhood area that very same day. Because what are the chances that you're going to come back to this neighborhood the next day or the following day to check out the comps? Just as soon as you look at the property, go get back in your car and go do your comp search and drive by the area and check out the properties. I think that was a really good strategy to just do it right then and there while you're there. Sure.
Yeah, we're
No,
all
but
over.
it's nice to see, and then also it's an opportunity to check out the area too. You know, railroads nearby, like you mentioned earlier, and I mean, I know you do satellite viewing beforehand, but maybe there's something else you might have missed around the area that you may not like.
Well, of course, there's no point to go back unless you close the deal and you're, you know, knocking things down to flip it.
I'm always quick to just jump on a Zoom with you guys. If you guys have an opportunity, I have no interest in just like taking your deal. I'm just trying to give you the best angle, the best, you know, help you take your best shot. And, you know, Ron has brought a deal to the table and we're actively working on it because these deals have all these little nuances. And so that's why I really try to share everything I've learned from all these like deals with you guys. So that way, you know, you maximize any opportunities you do, you know, get when you're out there taking action, because, you know, it is a high stakes business and we lose these deals. That's why we want to do this, because, hey, guys, we're winning deals, but we're losing deals too. And that's why we do this analysis of the deals that we didn't get. Like, hey, were we wrong? What did we miss? Do we regret not maybe going a little bit higher on our offer? On the ones that we did, you know, the one when I showed this meetup, you know, it's a deal it's behind schedule 3 months, you guys. It's literally behind schedule 3 months. But my partner and I still project to make 120, 140,000 on that deal because we bought it right. And then we've been going through all this drama, but at the same time, you know, we bought it at with enough margin of error that we're not going to lose money. And that's what I want for you guys, to buy deals with little risk, but with high upside potential, or maximize the opportunities that you do come across your desk. And then, you know, that's what Emily did. Emily brought me this opportunity. It wasn't for me to partner up. It was just like, hey, look at this deal. I have it. What do you think? You know, and we decided that maybe a partner up would be a better way to go. But it wasn't like she came out, she came with that in mind. She just thought maybe this might be something that he might be interested in. And I looked at the deal, and if I wasn't interested, I would tell her I'm not interested. But it matched all the boxes. We went through the process. Unfortunately, we didn't get this one, but now Emily learned a lot. The team had another deal to analyze. We have another agent that we've looked, that we've made contact with. So all these contacts, you guys, are what's going to lead you to get your deals. It isn't just that one magic silver bullet. It's going to be all these different touches across all the stuff that you're learning that are going to help you get deals consistently.